Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 of this Defense 3 matchup between Fnatic and Team Liquid. If you have not watched game 1, check it out on this guy's channel. My co-cast today is going to be Luminous, and we did cast game 1 earlier, and Fnatic played pretty much the best game you could hope for from Fnatic considering the draft. And Liquid drafted not that well, but Fnatic just never gave Liquid any openings.
Yep. I mean, when you lose out draft flat out, it takes so much more to win the game. A combination of you playing extremely well and the enemy team making a mistake. And Fnatic didn't have those stars lined up for them. So Fnatic took game 1, in my opinion, rather convincingly, rather easily. And again, there was a lot of matches, or a lot of on stake on this match. And Team Liquid is one win or one loss away from being eliminated from the defense.
Yes, Liquid can sort of rest easy because being in 4th place, they still get cash $1,500, but I mean, if you get 3rd place, you get 3,000, and then it increases from there. But yeah, I mean, this would be probably the first big tournament that they'd be knocked out of for quite a while since they've been formed, as I guess Dota Invitational isn't really as big a tournament, but they've dedicated a lot more time to this tournament, and I'm sure they would desperately not like to be knocked out here, but the server is US East, so Fnatic gonna be playing under a slight ping disadvantage, so we'll see if that affects the draft, because Fnatic made a big deal of it in a recent cast. Honey's saying Darkseer, like he tried to Iron Shell and Surge and all that jazz. So I don't think they're gonna pick up Darkseer right here.
Apparently not, because you can't play Darkseer under lag. But I think both teams are just like trolling. Well,
no, I think
I know
Fnatic are
both
serious.
trolling.
Bulba's trolling, but Fnatic is, or Hani at least, is serious. I don't think anybody else on the side of Fnatic has commented.
Okay, well, I don't know how much trolling's going on, but in any case, here, Team Liquid banning out the Wisp, meanwhile Fnatic banning out both Gyrocopter and Nyx Assassin. So I believe Nyx Assassin was picked in game 1 by Team Liquid, and Korok played it fairly well despite not exact. Am I forgetting it?
He did
I think
play
that's
it.
correct.
He played game 1 mid solo.
Okay, good. Yeah, despite him not winning the game, he was actually ganking fairly well. Didn't have the usual impact that he has, because Korok generally basically dominates the game when he gets, Blink Orchid on his Nyx Assassin. But regardless, a very, very powerful hero, and Fnatic's going to remove it.
Yeah, people have been pointing at him and Keeper of the Light as the most broken heroes of this patch, and I will have to agree. And meanwhile, Liquid waiting a long time. They know because Fnatic have first pick, they're going to choose something that they're going to probably roll out their lineup around. But Barrier is left in the pool, so we'll see if Barrier is getting chosen by Fnatic. Honestly, when Fnatic picks up Barrier, I don't actually know who plays. I think Hani, but Fnatic have actually... I've not actually seen Fnatic play Barrier, so it wouldn't be too surprising to see if they picked up something else. But Barrier seems to make the most sense here.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen him play either, and I'm sure if we see Hani play, it's going to be BOT somewhere along the lines. Blink into BOT. That's a very expensive build, especially for bad, but hey, when you get a mobile ganker like that, it'd be pretty insane. But Fnatic is taking their time a little bit. Maybe they were expecting Team Liquid to ban out the bat. Instead, and of course, they will be extremely happy to pick up the Keeper of Light instead if that was the case. But for now, they have the bat in pool, and they're not snap picking it up. So it makes me think that maybe it's a hero that they haven't practiced too much of, or maybe they are just thinking about the ramification of picking a Bat Rider. If they pick Bat, what would Team Liquid pick, and that's how they respond. Yada yada yada. But like I said before, Team Liquid's Fnatic's a team that loves to go unorthodox, or what we consider as unorthodox picks, unorthodox item choices, and skill builds. So again, I'm always very happy to cast Fnatic games.
Yeah, as Fnatic taking down the clock, another point is that they could be just giving Team Liquid Bat and saying, alright, if we give Liquid Bat, how are we going to lane it against a Bat? How are they going to lane it? So a lot of first pick mind games going on, as Barrier, one of those heroes who's definitely very versatile in how he lanes, but when it comes down to it, I think Fnatic will choose Barrier just because he's so strong. And what other first pick hero? I guess you could choose something like a Shadow Demon or... Well, Shouty in first pick is kind of not that good, and there's the Barrier to pick, as the question is, who will actually play it? If it's Trixie, it's going to be offlane Bat. If it's Hani, it's going to be mid-solo Bat. If it's No-Tail or Trixie, it could be jungle Bat. So Barrier, one of those heroes who doesn't really give away anything in Liquid, gotta be careful how they pick, because Barrier is, in most people's eyes, and in my eyes, the best initiator in the game, so they're going to have to rely on a hero who can stay quite back and doesn't really mind being lasted for the most part, and not really a support who has sort of tremendous impact in team fights. So I'm going to choose Leicester. I think a smart choice in this because he can get gripped, but still the Firefly edge, which is quite immense, won't really matter to Batrider. And they're going to pick up the Shadow Demon as well. So a nice pairing, Soul Catcher with Lifesteal does so much damage. It's ridiculous. As you can also defensively disrupt people who are being lassoed, and it will still get dragged, which is the funny thing. But at least you won't take that Firefly damage.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of interesting spell mechanic interaction between disruption or with all the other spells. But one thing I do want to point out the matchup between Batrider and Shadow Demon is that Shadow Demon will have a very difficult time casting multiple spells throughout the fight, simply because Napalm slows your turn rate. Shadow Demon's a hero that I like to run back and forth a lot in between the team fight to kind of make sure you always stay in the correct position and throw out shadow poisons as you see fit. The issue with that is that Batrider Napalm makes you run so slowly. It's difficult to actually do that. Make it possible. We see Magnus and Bane Elemental being picked up here for Fnatic. Bane is going to be a good pickup here against Lifestealer. Mostly due to his multiple ways to shut down the Lifestealer. If you get an Enfeeble on him before he pops his Rage, even Rage would not take off the Enfeeble debuff, and he will be losing a lot of damage output. Obviously, you could feel Fiend Script him through the Rage. So Fnatic has a lot of answers for that Lifestealer. So far, every single ultimates on Fnatic's side will go through Magical Immunity. And that's going to be an issue for Team Liquid.
Yeah, I think the best choice for Liquid here is probably Rubik, so you can steal something like an RP or a Fiend Script, because Fiend Script can always be stolen because it's a channeling ability. But so far, Fnatic, they have a lot of Disable on their side, and there's a lot of ways to deal with Lifesteal. There's Lasso, there's RP, and there's Fiend Script. And if they manage to catch somebody like Shout even Lasso or Magnus or Shout even the RP by Magnus, Bane will just be able to easily shut down that Lifesteal. So far, Fnatic's draft looking super scary once again, and not too sure what Liquid should do.
Great pickup here. Back in my mind, I was like thinking either you pick up a Puck or you pick up a Silencer. And Silencer is one of those heroes that's not exactly proven just yet, but I feel like because Fnatic has so much more offensive power, then you have to actually rely on Silence. Puck, of course, we've seen Korok play it beautifully lately. He goes Blink, sometimes go in the Dagon, which is my favorite variation of his Puck. But this Waiting Rift is actually absolutely brilliant here. Not only does it, shut down heroes like Bane Elemental or Batrider, let you gank Magnus. If you blink in Waiting Rift and drop Dream Coil, you could probably kill them during the time. But Dream Coil also has such a big range that it prevents Bane Elemental from safely channeling his Fiend Script, prevents Batrider from flying all over the team fight. So I feel like this is a very, very good pickup. Now, with that said, Team Liquid is very, very squishy so far. Shadow Demon and Puck, and to much a certain extent, Lifestealer is also very squishy if he cannot attack. And so far, again, against 3 spells that go through BKB, I'm not sure how much time Lifestealer could actually attack in these team fights.
And also, Korok lives on the East Coast. This is US East. I'm sure you'll be able to phase most projectiles. No, I'm serious. Like,
all right.
Yo, servers.
Okay.
Well, I expect a really strong showing out of Korok on this Puck. Maybe stronger than usual, as we're going to look at the bans. Luna is going to be banned by Team Liquid, saying we don't want to give them any more teamfight. Era does play Luna quite effectively, but Era can pretty much play any carry in the game, whether it be Luna, Void, Alchemist, Sven, anything. And Fnatic going to ban out the Nature's Prophet, fearing Bulba, knowing that there's no Bulba hero left in the pool just yet. Going to ban out Clockwork as well. So what other Bulba heroes are really known for at this point? I mean, Bulba is obviously a ridiculously talented player who can play a multitude of different heroes, but these are some of Liquid's more famous trademarks, and it's going to be interesting to see how Fluff decides to cope with these 2 bans.
I mean, you got to keep in mind that before Boba joined Team Liquid, he was playing solo mid for EG, and, he, in my opinion, one of the best solo mid player in North America. I do believe there's some other players that would like to challenge him for the title, but on the top of the pro scene, I feel like he's definitely cream of the crop, if you will. And he plays a mean Tinker. So there could be that thing too. Now, Tinker obviously have some difficult laning issues. You don't want to put Puck on the off lane. You can. He's not exactly, where that lane shines best. So maybe Team Liquid's going to put him in the safe lane if Tinker is the pickup. Obviously, again, Boba has many other heroes in his repertoire. And if Fluff likes to bring a couple of them out here, more power to him. I'd like to see those as well. Meanwhile here, Luna as well as Anti-Mage being banned out by Team Liquid. And draft progressing very, very steadily. Nothing too surprising so far.
Yep, Fnatic definitely lacking their hard carry. If we had to guess how this is going to be lane, it's going to be Bane support, safe lane, Batrider. Most likely mid, although you could put Magnus mid and, switch around whether it be off lane or jungle for the Batrider. So there's a little bit of confusion on how Fnatic can lane that. So right now they're pretty versatile. Meanwhile, Liquid Keep in mind, Bulba also first played Puck on Liquid when he was first choice, or first picked up. So if they want to go for some weird off-lane hero for Korok, that could be a possibility as well. Or if they want to run an aggressive challenge, put Korok safe lane with some other really high-impact hero, they could put Bulba on the Puck, and I'm sure you'd be able to play it very, very strong indeed. As Fnatic going to be out the Broodmother, another of Bulba's trademark heroes, and Broodmother is always super awesome when Bulba picks it up because nobody expects a Broodmother anymore. But whenever they get it, I feel like Liquid has a 100% win rate with that Broodmother choice, just
Very
because nobody
small
expects
sample
it.
size, though. Very small
Yeah,
sample
over
size.
like 2 games.
Yeah. But, 100% nonetheless win rate. But any case here, that's going to be the hero being banned out. I guess Beastmaster is always a valid option if you're considering any offlane hero. Speaking of which, Beastmaster, tough hero to play. Of the
Especially in
offlane.
the offlane. Yo, and the dire offlane nonetheless.
Yeah. Getting your stack warded off is not a good thing. Which, for any
Literally suffering
any of
from
you guys that do
PTSD.
watch my channel regularly, that Beastmaster guy is progressing very splendidly along, and it's going to be out soon.
I think this guide has more tears than blood
Than
and
any
sweat.
than all of the guys added up so
All the
far.
other guides had blood, sweat, and tears. This one has a 70% portion of tears and
Yep.
10% of blood and sweat and 20% of luminous.
What? Nice map, bro. But it's gonna get banned out here. As all these hard carry being banned out, it's gonna allow Lifestealer to be that one that most teams like to play. I still is in my opinion of thinking that Lifestealer is a fine carry hero, but he shouldn't be your one. Like I just feel like he's not strong enough to be one. If
I
that
don't
makes
know. I
sense.
think in this game, assuming Fnatic doesn't really sort of pick up a one who's super superior, I think in this game he'd be quite alright as Enchantress is going to be
Or
chosen by Fnatic.
another way to say is you can play 4+1 with Lifestealer being the one. Like he can't put the entire team on his shoulder. He's one of those heroes that you get accelerated very quickly because of his skill set and feats and whatnot. And you could, get for movement speed items or attack speed items, and you could carry your damage through. But the thing is, if it goes to a certain point in the game, he just gets bounced around because he can't really attack that much. His survivability depends on his ability to attack, which again
Well,
we
they have
talked
some
about.
Dream Call, so as long as they can pick off the Magnus. But again, there's so many
Sure.
counters to him in this draft at the moment. And even Enchantress, solid choice, can push down towers early on, and it will be handled by No Tail most likely. But I mean, they have some ways to ensure that Leicester gets hits. They have Purge as well as the Dream Coil in order to ensure that Leicester does manage to actually hit his targets. But still, the range on initiation on Fnatic, they're going to get double Blink Daggers at the very least, even maybe if it comes down to it, another Blink Dagger in Bane. So Liquid gonna have to be careful on how they initiate, and Fnatic will always have the initiation advantage in my opinion.
Well, yeah. Also, it depends on how early Puck picks up his Blink Dagger. If he picks it up, and of course, you got to keep in mind that there's a Lifestealer Bomb coming in. So there's some decent forms of initiation from Team Liquid as well. But Fnatic is just a lot easier to do. Blink RP, Blink Batrider Ultimate, and you got to keep in mind that Fiend's Nightmare is it's a fine initiation spell, just knocking somebody out for 4 seconds and then crowding around them for the easy kill. So yeah, Fnatic definitely has that initiation power. But speaking of which, in terms of the laning stage, Shadow Disruption, Shadow Demon Disruption, Lifestealer Open Wounds, and Lina's LSA is quite the initiation combo. So we're gonna see most likely Fluff and stuff playing the Lina. I'm not sure if he has that Lina set. Maybe that's why he's picking it up. He's definitely complaining to me that he really needs that Lina set. So any Fluff fans out there,
Yeah, only
locate him.
spend $35, or if you get the drop, of course, then I'm sure you'd be more than happy. But Fnatic choose Alchemist for their hard K for Era, and Leicester does very well against Alchemist in my honest opinion. He has so much HP he can steal, doesn't really have the best armor, but one thing that he does do better than most carries is that he farms super fast and gets tanky super early on. So even if there is Soul Catcher and Laguna Blade flying in, Alchemist can take that a bit earlier on than most carries. So Alchemist is going to be the choice by Fnatic in this game, and this pick, it's pretty awesome. How are they going to lane it? That's my real question. I guess,
Offensive tri-lane with Team Liquid, and then Tinker on the safe lane and Core Aquaman. That it seems like that's their only choice. But if they want to do something crazy out of the ordinary, well, we'll have to wait and see. I do want to point out that you got to keep in mind that even though it doesn't seem like it, Alchemist is yet another hero that locks down Lifestealer because thanks to his insane attack speed with his Alchemist Rage or Chemical Rage, you could just easily pick up a Basher and later on Abyssal Blade, and you just right-click the Lifestealer, and he just get bashed continuously. So I'm not liking TC's game here. Well, He's not going to be liking this game, is what I'm trying to say, because he is going to be juggled around like a ping pong ball. I feel like in this game, because he's not going to be able to attack that much. At
And
least that's the way I
also,
see it.
Fnatic's Alchemist is known for getting Shadow Blade, so I don't think Tinker is a good choice in this game either, because there's a Blink Batrider, and he was one of the original counters, even in TI2, before he was buffed. He was picked as a counter to Tinker, and Era will pick up a Shadow Blade, so I don't know if Tinker is the best choice in this game either. So again, Liquid, I think they might be fighting with a bit of a draft disadvantage, but I mean, I'm sure they've learned lessons in game one and they can put those lessons to good use. But as is, Fnatic picking a really strong draft. They have a lot of team fight. They have a lot of carry potential. I mean, once you empower the Alchemist, he doesn't really need BKB. Well, he needs BKB in this game, but I mean, you empower him, give him a lot more damage, and once he gets that attack speed rolling, like you mentioned, he'll be able to absolutely mow down the Lifestealer.
Yeah, I mean, because of Chemical Rage and how imbalanced that spell is, like, if you don't know what it does, just take some time after this game and go and play Dota and read exactly what Chemical Rage does. It just does some of the most imbalanced things in the game. It just buffs a ton of things: attack speed, HP, armor, I think, movement speed. It does a lot of stuff. And when you have a lot of that on top of Empower and just one attack item, one damage item, that's all you really need to kind of propel your hero into like ultra late game attack damage status or DPS status. So I always thought Alchemist is fully viable in the competitive scene, and Fnatic is the only team that's picking it up. So more power to Fnatic.
Yeah, I mean, it was experimented in the Star Ladder from time to time, but I mean, when you have other harder carries, then you can sort of go with them, I suppose, as Alchemist if he does manage to get shut down. I mean, he does farm fast, but in comparison to a Void who has a Chronosphere and just a ridiculously huge teamfight lockdown with the Fan Mites having good split push, there are other stronger carries, but still, Alchemist really, really strong. And yeah, I guess now we'll introduce the players and teams on side of Fnatic. We're going to have Fly playing the Bane, No Tail is going to be handling the Enchantress. Era is going to be playing solo mid Alchemist. Trixie's playing the Batter, and Honey's playing the Magnus. So it's going to be a safe lane farming Magnus with a offlane Batrider. Interesting.
Yeah, something that we haven't seen before. Also, let's talk about this Alchemist versus Puck matchup here. It seems like the Puck's gonna win just on paper because he's range and he's got better nuke. But Alchemist, if he could survive to level 6, which he definitely will be able to, Puck could never actually win the lane at that point anymore. Also, Era could always put a couple points into Acid Spray, and that's gonna be so annoying for Korok to deal with. You can see like Alchemist feeling safe. He's actually gonna put his first point into Grievel's Greaves. So yeah, I think Era recognized he's going to win the lane despite, Korok maxing out on stats and whatnot. And it's going to be tough here for him to win the lane. Back in the top lane, though, TC has that rage, but here comes a big backstab attempt, and they're going to find him. TC, there's going to be a stomp, and right now the Illusion's taking the tower aggro. No Tail actually under a little bit of trouble as well. He pops a magic wand. It looks like both of them dies at the same time, but Enchantress got the EXP. TC got the... Oh, looks like TC just teleporting right back into this. Not afraid of it at all.
Yep, as still, nice first blood for the side of the Fnatic guys. And one thing again I want to talk about Alchemist I forgot when I was trying to introduce the players and teams is that, like you mentioned, Empower with Alchemist is really brutal, but the scary thing about Alchemist is that he farms much quicker than most carries, or gets his big items much quicker than most carries, just because he can farm a tier 4 item every 3 to 4 minutes if he has the requisite conditions in place. So not only will he get those Empower buffs, he also get the items to match up with it and really amplify it. But Korok is doing a nice job of driving late Era at this point. The Stout Shield definitely paying for itself, but Era only 3 and 2 in terms of last hit, so Korok doing a really, really nice job driving Era off the lane. I think this will force Era into a bottle. I don't think he should go soaring in this case.
Mid lane here, Disruption, and Fluff and Stuff's going to land that LSA for sure. Here we go. Era is going to get picked off. And that's one of the downside of Alchemist being early on, especially before we get that level 6. Very, very low base armor. Does have decent amount of HP, but the nukes will burn through that, and Korok gonna get his quick bottle, and that's gonna be able to allow him to push the lane and get those runes. And of course, with the 2 roaming supports on Team Liquid side, that's gonna be very, very easily secure. Speaking of roaming supports, No Tail's gonna come right into Fluff and Stuff's vision, so he knows the smoke gang is up because he saw the Furball coming out of invisibility out of nowhere.
Yep, and just making sure that we're synced up because I think you were slightly ahead of me. 19, 29, 30, 31. I'll speed up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, sounds good. As we're going to see some nice dewarding going on by Fly, dispelling the smoke, but there is still a revealed Furbog, and Tinker, offlane Tinker with a lot of support, aggressive trialing. So Liquid Bulba is being thrown to the wolves, but so far not having the worst of times. Again, he has easy access into the Ancient stack, and that's going to be huge. I mean, if Fnatic, once they realize this, if they place ward there, Bulba's life could be absolute hell. But so far, Liquid is doing a nice job de-warning it out and making sure that Bulba is playing relatively safe, as so far Liquid are doing a solid job in 2 out of their 3 lanes, but still, I mean, they're going to need to do that, because Tinker in this game, he's going to have a hard time to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually quite impressed with how Fluff and stuff lane this one, because generally you think, oh, Tinker, very fragile hero on the off lane. That seems to be a disaster. But if you think about it, March Machine is one of the most difficult spell to actually gank through. You probably maybe get a kill, but you're probably going to die before you get that kill because March Machine's damage output is insane. Also, because of the 2 supports on the bot lane, like B-Ball pointed out, you could easily go into that Ancient stack and keep stacking, keep pulling it, which will allow Tinker quick access in that Butcher Travel much later on. You can see that he's going to be going for Soul Ring first, which is very important in terms of picking up enough mana to take that Ancient stack. And of course, TC on the top lane, he's really not going to die to the Bat Rider. Obviously, we did see a death to him early on, but in between Rage, Magic Stick, and Boots of Speed, he should be basically fine. And that's exactly what we see. Although Trixie is
5
stacking the hell out of him.
stacks.
He doesn't actually have mana for Firefly though, so he should be fine.
No,
but,
I don't
like
think
I say,
so.
the right clicks are coming in, and that's gonna be enough. Wow, just
You
old school
underestimate the
napalm
power
right click.
of the bat. I think Trixie, or actually TC, what he was banking on is that Trixie would run out of mana, and actually Trixie was getting very close. But keep in mind, Rage actually doesn't debuff the napalm. You actually
does
just
not.
can't stack through it. But the Rage at this point is such a short duration that you can still wait till the Rage expires and then keep stacking napalm. So TC underestimated the power of Barretter, but at the very least he's going to force Barretter back, and that's a small victory. He can get some farm, but still feeding Barretter a lot of gold at this stage in the game. Definitely not something you want to have happen.
Wait.
If he gets that fast stagger, he should be okay.
I know you're the B-ball, you're the Bat Rider expert here, but doesn't napalm go through BKB?
No, they fixed that. They fixed that.
Okay, you
They
used
fixed
to.
it
Okay.
just recently, actually, in
Okay.
a recent patch. But it used to in Dota 2, but it never did in Dota 1. But yeah, that was the case, as we might see a dual roaming support gank coming on middle. Fluff and IX Mike are smoked up as they're waiting for Era to push in, but Era seems that he's learned his lesson. Not seeing the supports on the map is just going to stay very far back, and I guess he's bottle crowing? Yeah, he is bottle crowing with the acid spray, and that is going to make it so difficult for Croc actually to control the lane properly, as Creep will constantly push. I mean, you can cast Orb all you want, but the acid spray does so much damage and so much minus armor that the Creeps hit harder, and he hits harder as well. But as I say that, Fluff and IX Mike spy an opening with the Dream Cold double damage rune is pop.
my
Era
God.
gonna charge up the stun as he's going to work, but IX Mike with the acid spray taking so much damage. Era gonna challenge the stun, going to Fluff. Fluff is gonna die, and you can see the power of the Alchemist. Can he actually escape? He's gonna turn back around. He takes one, but still 3 people went to gank him, and he picked up the first kill and got the experience. Nice play by Era, and underestimating the power of the Alchemist is something that you do not want to do if you're Team Liquid.
I don't think they underestimated it. They just really messed up their gang. They missed the LSA. Really, that was the back-breaking thing.
Bottom lane, Bulba is getting RP, got skewered as well. Brain Tap is gonna come in here because of a nice rotation by Fluff, who after he died, gonna teleport immediately back in. Nightmare gonna be challenged, as that is gonna end that engagement. Bulba, no bottle, just gonna go back to base. He instead rushing Soul Ring, probably the right choice in this game, just to cut out that ancient stack. But still, he's gonna be out of lane for quite a bit. So far, Fnatic definitely making their roams count. And sorry, what were you saying about that middle lane gank?
Oh yeah, they missed the LSA. I mean, it should be easy thing to land because of Dreamcore as well, Shadow Demon Disruption, but they didn't land it, so they lost Lina because of it, and that's really where they completely fail. Mio Fly on the bot lane here, looking to initiate on Fluff, cutting them straight in the jungle. This is a very common path to tango through, to make sure that your supports and as well as the enemy support could roam past and do a lot of backstabbing. But Korok roaming off to the bot lane, which will give Tinker some safe farm on the mid lane, which he desperately needs. I feel like because they saw the Alchemist mid, maybe they could have put Boba mid instead, because I think Tinker really outlanes Tinker because of March Machine. But even with that said, you know,
Tinker
Korok,
Tinker? Dang.
Tinker versus Alchemist, sorry. But with that said, Korok, you know, which lane would have went to? So maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, if you do put Tinker in the mid lane, Puck can't really clear Ancients, as there might be an attempt. Disruption is going down on the Barretter as he tried to make a go for TC. Here comes the Shockwave coming back in. Hani trying to get in place to get that skewer off. Will skewer forward as it will apply the slow debuff, and meanwhile TC going back, but I don't think this is the right move. But no, Korok is going to come in nice and fast, doing a lot of damage. Trixie being held in place by the Dream Coil. Trixie running around in circles. Can he get some more napalm stacks? That's the question. Going to get one more, but he's going to get open wounded, and he will end up dying. But it's going to take 3 people for Liquid to get 1 kill, as opposed to 2 people by Fnatic, albeit 2 important people compared to 2 Liquid supports.
Yeah, I mean, they still traded a Shadow Demon for a Bat Rider at the end of the day, so it's always a decent trade. But it forced Korok to TP top, which that's going to slow down his farm. He also has Wind Treads, which is something that he normally like to do anyways. But that's going to, again, slow down his Blink Dagger. I feel like the Blink Dagger for Tiny, or for Korok, excuse me, is going to be extremely, extremely important. Once he picks it up, heroes like Bane Elemental, Enchantress is going to be easy, easy kills. Fluff and stuff. Senses something is wrong, is going to burn through the trees and TP back out. Speaking of Fluff and stuff, does not have Boots of Speed still yet, and against heroes such as Enchantress, Bat Rider, as well as Magnus, that's almost a death warrant because you really need as much movement speed as possible.
Yeah, Fluff Selena, I think it goes phase boots more often than not, just to give him the extra move speed with the Fiery Soul. It gives him ridiculous move speed, so I expect to see that later on. But so far, I think the camps are being stacked. Yeah, look at how much gold Era is about to receive on the back of level 2 Grievo's Greed. And keep in mind, he was stacking
Jesus.
small camp all the while the lane was being pushed by the Acid Spray. I just want to check out the gold counter. He started at 520, and he's going to go up to a ridiculous proportion right here with the help of No Tail, as the creep's actually running out of the Acid Spray. But still, it's 734, and he's not even killed any of the big creeps just yet. Might have to leave it for another day. No, he's going to finish it off right now, but still a ridiculous amount of farm being picked up by Era, as well as a nice amount of experience. So at this point in the game, if you look at the experience, 3 level 8s on the side of Fnatic, as opposed to only 2 level 8s, and meanwhile on the top lane, as I was watching creeps die, there are heroes dying as well. Lina got picked off. This Magnus Barrier duo providing so much damage on this top lane.
Yeah, the thing is actually it was Dire that initiated that team fight. You can see Dreamcoat was down, Open Wounds was used, and all the spells being dropped. Unfortunately, Magnus just too tanky. Bat Rider, fairly tanky individual himself with just a Bracer as well as Tranquil Boot. So very, very good attempt here. Stopped by the Fnatic side. Not only were they stacking the high-level camp here on Fnatic, they were also stacking a lot of the jungle camps. I did see Enchantress picked up 2 Shockwave creeps earlier and took that down, but back in the mid lane here, No Tail, perhaps a little bit of trouble here, but in fairness, he's going to fight his way out. Oh no! Looks like IX going to go down to the nuke of Era. So still trading 1 for 1, but Era picking up the kill here. Very, very important. How is Korok's Blink Dagger coming? 1,000 it away. Again, I'm going to constantly check on his Blink Dagger gold, because once he picks it up, that's Liquid's kind of small window of opportunity to make a comeback. I feel like they're really down behind in terms of gold and experience. You talked about the experience factor earlier, and of course, we watched that big stack being taken by Era. And Era, like you said, has really a built-in Midas, if you will. I feel like Grievo's Greed, mathematically is better than Midas, but it feels very Midas-esque, and he's farming his pants off.
Yeah, I just want to actually comment on one thing about Trixie's item build. He went for the Bracer. I think that was a reaction because he knows he's probably not going to get too many wards on the top lane, and they're constantly keeping a lot of pressure. So Bracer, usually not the best time for Barrett. You want to get those Tranquils, Magic Wand, and the Orb. But meanwhile, as I say that, Korok and TC going to initiate on Honey, but Nightmare, as the Rage was not popped, and now Honey has access into a nice RP if he chooses to go for it. Going to pop the Arcane Boots as Korok and TC out of mana. Impetus is going to be charged up on TC. March Achieves is there for the backup, so that is going to prevent the dive. I think Honey had an opening, but I think he might have suspected that there were more Liquid supports roaming in, and there are 4 heroes inside Liquid there. But yeah.
Mid lane here, looks like Fluff and Stuff's going to eat a nuke to the face, and he should be fine. LSA not going to cast gas. It was not able to charge up to the full, and obviously it was only a level 1 stun, so was able to get the kill on Fluff. If he's actually starting to get solo kill before he picks up that Shadow Blade, you know the game's not going well. Speaking of Shadow Blade, that's the item I will be expecting Era to pick up, as not only does it set up his ganks, it gives him the insane attack speed bonus, which works well with his insanely low base attack time when he's in ultimate form, but more importantly, the damage is very, very welcome as well.
That's pretty much the go-to item for Alchemist these days in the scene, as IX might gonna stack another camp. And Bulba, once he clears this stack, should have enough for the boots to travel as he's clearing out some jungle camps in the meanwhile. So Bulba might become an annoying force, but still, he can't really afford to dive. Of course, you don't really need to dive as a Tinker. If you're diving a Tinker, you're doing it wrong. And meanwhile, Trixie is gonna farm some camps himself, getting close to that dagger, so both teams getting close to the first key core item. And like you said, Korok actually has not picked up too much gold, was on that bottom lane for quite a bit, as Barrett going to Firefly will have enough money for the dagger after a couple more waves. So it appears that Trixie will be the first recipient of a huge core item in this game.
But back in the mid lane, though, looks like they're going to try to gank on Era. Era in big trouble. Looks like Pug in bigger trouble as well. Era pops his ultimate form. He's going to try to fight against IX Mike. A 1 millisecond stun is going to be enough. Meanwhile, Pug also has went down. Fnatic seems like they should have more hero, more places at once. Trixie also here as well. Boba going to TP right in. Not exactly a full HP, but we'll have the bottle bring him back up. But this is a very well timing picked up here on the Breach of Travel, which is when Fnatic's starting to want to look for pushes, this Marching Machine is going to be very annoying to stop that push.
Definitely, definitely. As Liquid, again, Korok was unfortunately the recipient of that gank, although he did again initiate it. And this Blink Dagger is going to be dead. It might actually be delayed after the Magnus Dagger, which is very, very shocking. They're going to have 2 daggers up before Puck even gets his dagger, as Barrett just managed to finish his dagger. So Tinker got to be very careful in how he teleports in, because I expect Fnatic to start placing some aggressive wards to spot out that Tinker and just really make his life miserable. Because one of the best ways for Liquid to secure the late game is just get that Hex up ASAP on Bulba. But usually Bulba does like to go for the Blink Dagger, usually standard, keep that farm very, very secure, and then go for the Hex. But in this game, maybe rushing the Hex would be a better idea.
Yeah, I mean, Blink Dagger is going to be very, very important to keep him alive against the opposing 2 Blinks, but I'm not sure if he has the time to actually get it. Speaking of Blink Dagger, Korra only 1,000 go. Again, the most important Blink Dagger is on the Puck, and he can't pick it up, not because he's playing bad or anything, it's just this team needs him to gank and counter gank. And he can't farm and gank at the same time, obviously. So, obviously, he's been dying a couple times in these ganks as well. Look at that defensive smoke, using Boba to bait here, and spamming that Marching Machine as well. They're just, they so want them to go on Boba, because even if Boba die here, it's not exactly the biggest loss, considering that he already has his Breach level. And if you can pick up a kill, like, let's say on an Alchemist or a Magnus here, that's pretty huge. Hani, by the way, has that go for the Blink Dagger. For his sake, he should pick it up right now before he gets ganked. And that gank is coming soon.
Meanwhile, Radiant say, we don't want to gank Bulba, we're just going to kill your towers instead. They kill the middle tower as Magnus does pick up the dagger, and there might be a dive commenting on Hani as he's trying to run away. Korok and IX Mike staying super, super ninja-esque as Hani just going to teleport out. What map awareness as Korok casting Dream Coil Whis as well. As unfortunately for Team Liquid, Hani is going to escape. At the very least, they are going to get a tower, but still, how did Hani know? I'm not too sure. He just had some super ninja senses.
Sometimes it's not what you see, but what you not see. That's some Confucius shit I just said.
And just want to make one more sort of joke remark, is that Puck...
Hey,
Nebula,
I didn't make a joke remark. Fuck you.
Yo, dang. I was going to make us... Man, why... God, I'm so depressed now.
I'm sorry. I
was gonna say the reason why Puck doesn't have his dagger is because he went for treads, which is not Nebula approved, because Nebula best Puck in North America, and I'm best Barrett in North America.
Alright, that's why you guys are not in this game.
Oh man. As anyway, Era has that Shadow Blade on lock very, very soon. He is gonna have it shipped to him right now, and the fact that Fnatic are gonna get all 3 of their major core items before, again, Puck picks up his dagger. And Puck's only died once, although he's been sort of pushed down, kept back very heavily, allowing Bulba and TC to farm up, is a little bit troubling news, because, again, the sooner you can pick up dagger, the sooner you can shut down heroes like Barrett and Magnus. But now, as it is, they have so much more range for initiation that I don't know if Dream Coil will be the best situation. It's more going to be a counter initiation tool, as again, he's going to have to find the perfect opening and catch at least 2 heroes with the Dream Coil in order to really make it work. As Fnatic Era just going to clear out Ancient stacks with that Shadow Blade, and you can see his base attack time, with the help of that Shadow Blade, easily allows him to clear out Ancients despite having very minimal armor.
Man, that haste rune is going to be absolutely brutal for any support he sees by himself. Basically, he's going to just charge up the stun, load right up to them, drop a Acid Cloud, drop the stun. A couple of right clicks is going to do the job, and seems like he is going to be on the hunt. He sees TC up on top. I think he can solo kill TC as well, although he's not going to be going for it for now. But for now, yeah, he's going to be going back to the farm train up top. I think at this point in the game, I don't think Team Liquid has the advantage in any scenario in the game. They're not leading by gold, they're not leading by EXP, nor are they leading by kills. Definitely not leading in terms of tower as well. With that said, Team Liquid has the worst late game situation. And Tinker is a decent late game hero, Lysa, in my opinion, like I pointed out during the draft phase, he's not that good in the ultra late game. He needs a lot of items to take it to late. Meanwhile, Era farms insane because of his Goblin Greed. And also you have multiple Blink Daggers up. And your support scale decently into late game as well for Fnatic, so not sure how Team Liquid can combat this. And they're going to try to set up a smoke gang, and let's see if they're going to find somebody.
On top of that, they have RP, probably the best late game spell in existence, as Liquid gonna have that Lightsteer bomb planted inside the puck, but Hani senses something up, is gonna teleport to the top lane. This might be the start of a huge team fight as Bulba is gonna get initiated, and here comes the Brute Sap as the immediately gonna get a kill, but a huge Dream Cold and Fest combination gonna kill off Fly. Arrow running around in circles. Where is Hani? Hani being kept back all the while, as well as Trixie, but that haste turn, like you mentioned, is so crucial for Era, is actually escaping him. No, the purge by Alex Mike is perfectly timed. They have the detection in place. They are gonna clean up Era. Meanwhile, Hani just gonna skewer on out of there. As wow, what a nice gank by Liquid with that Dream Colt and Fest Bomb. It's almost like having a Storm Spirit, but you can keep people in place. Such a ridiculous amount of damage pumped out in such a short amount of time.
Great gank attempt here by Team Liquid again. Blink Dagger on the puck being the most important factor, but big RP comes in right now. They're dropping every ultimate right on TC, but the core coming in to bail him out, but can TC make it out alive? There's a nightmare on him, and looks like teleportation comes out. Boba TP's right in. Defensive or offensive disruption here, but looks like the Marcher Machine is going to be coming in to drive everybody back. RP being used and no kill being taken, so very, very good recovery. Although Boba standing on that Firefly, gotta be very, very careful because he is under sight of the enemy. He should be fine. But like I said, Puck, Blink Dagger allowed them to have that gank, and good timing on that gank as well. But eventually, I don't feel like that was a big win. Sure, they killed an Alchemist, but they also lost a Tinker as well. So at the end of the day, basically they gained one extra support, which is something that you expect more of, especially if it's your first Blink Dagger gank. But Team Liquid showing some signs of life. I feel like if the game was progressing the way that it was like 5 minutes ago, they would have lost again. But it looks like back and more Nyx in bomb. Hani gets picked off this time, and again, Fluff and stuff, directing his team for a comeback, and it's not looking that grim anymore.
Fluff and stuff conducting the Team Liquid Orchestra, as Bala is going to farm that bottom lane. Has the dagger up. He's had the dagger for, I don't know, about 2 minutes. He had it in the last engagement as the top tower going to take a last sustained fire. Without Magnus, they can't really hope to defend this, as there's so much damage in place. Keep in mind, Lina, one of the best damaging supports, if not the best damaging support, and there's a reason why Shadow Demon and Lina synergize so well. They just dish out so much damage. It's barely even funny, as we on Trixie just hiding the woods, and for the first time, Fnatic looking a little bit insecure in their map movements. They're not really farming aggressively. They're not farming the jungle.
In the mid lane, as you can see the Blink Flaming Lasso on Korok, a stun coming out here, and Korok from 100% health to 0 instantly. That's the power of the attack speed damage from Alchemist. That's the power of a Blink Dagger on that Rider, and we just witnessed both of them right there.
Yo, what happened to your slow computer? Now you're always faster than me. I gotta speed up. Dang. Did he upgrade in the meantime?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Nah, that was just a little thing in replays that usually Luminous is the slow one, and I had to sort of slow down. But still, this game, I guess he's got my number. As
exactly. I'm at least catching the kills, so you could catch the kill on camera as well. So that's I don't think a bad thing.
Yeah, for replay cast, it's not that bad. Yeah. It's pretty cool. As Bulba gonna farm up. Actually, he's getting pretty close to his first major component for the Hex, and that Hex is gonna be very, very important. Era, will he go for BKB or will he go for something like an AC right now? I don't know, as I'm not too sure what Fnatic Alchemists like to get after the Shadow Blade. I know that they love getting the Shadow Blade. They won't go for Radiance even though he's saving up a lot of gold, and actually he's going to pick up the Firestone, so he's going all out attack speed, and he's going to rely on the Magnus to give him a lot of damage. And Magnus, what level is in power? Only level 1, but he's very close to that level 12, so level 2 on power will be online, maybe in level 3 by the time AC is finished.
I feel like AC is also a very deceptively strong as a DPS item. People don't see it like that because there's, it doesn't actually give you any plus damage. But the attack speed it grants, which synergized beautifully with Alchemist's low base attack time on his Chemical Rage. But more importantly, the minus armor, especially in conjunction with Acid Spray, as well as Unstable Concoction, you actually do insane amount of damage output. And of course, in power on top of that, just icing on the cake. So it is actually a very legitimate damaging item, rivaling that of a Maelstrom or of a Daedalus or whatever. Insert your generic damage item here. So despite him getting tankier, he's also getting a lot more DPS worthy as well. And of course, getting tankier is very, very important, especially armor against Lifestealer's Feast. So I feel like this is actually the perfect item choice that you get picked up.
I was watching Liquid's movement on the minimap. They were not moving, so I was wondering if they're out of smoke. They actually have a smoke, but I think they're really hesitant to use it at this point, because it probably will be their last smoke for a while. So Bulba's going to farm up neutrals, and we're actually going to see the courier come back in. Fluff has 3 bracers. This is the ultimate support getting no farm build, just trying to tank up as much as possible. Still nothing like phase boots, not going for mobility, instead going for absolute survival, which is very necessary, but still, if he managed to get Cat with an RP or with an Alchemist stun, he's gonna die anyway, as Bracer's gonna give him a lot of mana, a lot of HP, but still won't really help him move around, and won't really keep up the mana spam as Era going to continue to clear out stacks. Fnatic just playing like the old node type. They're stacking every single Nutri-Camp that they possibly can get their hands on, and Era going to be gladly clearing up all the farm as he'll have the AC up in about 400 gold, and that is going to be quite scary. An AC 25 minutes in the game is really, really scary. It does so much minus armor, it gives you so much extra damage, gives you attack speed as well as some nice plus armor. It's really one of the best late game items. If you can get it early on, that's just gravy.
I mean, you gotta keep in mind that because of Goblin's Greed or Grievo's Greed, every stack that you get, you're increasing your gold by a ton more than what a normal stack would. Because, you know, neutral creep's only worth, what, 20 gold, 30 gold, but when you're getting, what, 20 extra, 30 gold, 25 extra gold on top of that, that's absolutely insane. And that's exactly what Goblin Greed does. The longer this game goes, the more stack that Fnatic's gonna do, and the more gold that Era's gonna make. And so far, he's already out farming basically just about everybody. If you look at his net worth, it's not even close. Although, as I say that, he's actually not even the highest in terms of net worth.
No, he's third highest.
No, the courier was delivering the assault throughout that, and now he's back on top after getting it. And a huge ancient stack. Man, look at this.
Yo, as he was getting to that point where he's not that tanky, but now with the AC, he's able to tank so much more creeps and also be able to tank the lifestyle. Lifestyle combined feast is based on armor, so the more armor you get, the less damage feast actually does to you, so that is quite significant. Again, at this point, lifestyle is pretty much the greatest source of sustained DPS on the side of Team Liquid. Tinker is not yet that big of a factor. I mean, of course, March Machines, if you can get the stacks off, but I don't anticipate Fnatic running into a couple of stacks in order to get the tower push. Fnatic are known to play very, very calm, very, very sort of coordinated, and won't really charge into any unnecessary engagements. And meanwhile, Hani has a Ghost Scepter as well, so that's going to negate another source of DPS. And Fnatic, they have their farm. They're going to try to use this opportunity to smoke up and force an engagement, as they're going to see Bulba teleport top, but so far, they don't have any vision of anybody else, but they might just go for Bulba or wait for the next teleport. They're going to use this time to plant some sentry or play some observer wards, giving them a lot of vision from any reinforcements, but as it is, the top lane might be in for a huge surprise.
Well, I mean, he thinks he's safe with the Rage, but there you go. Blink Lasso initiation right on top. We're going to see a Phoenix Grip being used as well. Do they even need a Phoenix Grip? Can he actually invest? He cannot. And that's a free kill on TC, and that should be enough to allow them to get the push off. Now, it depends on very good positioning on Boba to make sure he stacks on multiple layers. It looks like he has given up on that. Instead, he's going to be trying to push in bottom or farm the enemy jungle. Wow, Boba. Not going to defend tower, not going to push.
Oh, Cluckles, no! Cluckles, fly! Use the rocket speed. Oh, he's able to escape. Sorry. You know, whenever you see a chicken in Dota, you always gotta fear that it's gonna turn into some KFC, especially with that Barretter on the way.
Man, there is only one chicken in Dota, too.
Yeah, Cluckles.
Cluckles, the best courier ever.
Best courier. As all we need now is an old Mini Viper, not a fat green slug Mini Viper.
We do need the Mini Viper back, actually.
We don't need this Mini Viper. This Viper, mad ugly. Anyway, Fnatic.
Oh, you don't like the Dota 2 Viper model?
Yo, he's not sleek. He's like a fat green slug with, and his wings are backward too. Have you noticed that his wings are actually backwards?
Maybe Viper is retarded. I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, Luminous, the most politically correct caster in all of Dota 2.
Wait, what is the political way to say retarded?
Special.
Special. Oh, he is
Luminous, you're a very special caster.
I'm not a special. Oh, I am a special caster. Thank you. But Viper is a very special hero. In any case, we're gonna see a smoke gang coming here from Team Liquid with Korok infested in. I mean, actually, one other thing they could do is just go right into the Roshan pit and try to sneak in one because there is a oh, sorry, Boba blinked forward. I thought somebody on the other team blinked in. I mean, there is a Desolator up on the Life Sealer, so they could actually bring down Roshan fairly quickly. And I think they're gonna do just that.
I don't know, nobody's farming the lanes, and the lanes are actually pushed very close to the tower, so I think Fnatic know that this is going on despite them not having the vision. They're saying nobody's farming lanes, only Bulba is farming one lane, but the top lane is just a lot of free farm going their way, and they don't see him in the jungle because of that Observer Ward, so I think Fnatic know this is happening. And actually, TC, the bash is coming for Roshan. Roshan does not want to die to Team Liquid, as Team Liquid is forced to retreat. Gem is up on Puck, trying to give him some more map control, but we are going to see Trixie flying ahead. He's going to get immediately purged by Alex Mike, as Purge has already been expanded. Keep in mind, it's a short cooldown, not the worst spell to use at this stage, as meanwhile, Liquid gonna forego taking down Roshan. This might be Fnatic's chance because they have minus armor from the Alchemist as well as Empower, and if they manage, they'll be able to kill Roshan much easier compared to somebody like Liquid.
But the thing is, by the time you're trying to take the Roshan, multiple layers of Marcher Machine will be set up on you, and of course, you're gonna give Korok a very, very easy initiation into the Roshan pit. So they're definitely, despite the fact that they have the damage to do it, I'm not sure whether they would actually want to do it. It is fairly dangerous. And on the flip side here, Team Liquid definitely want to do it, but not necessarily having the damage to do so. So both teams having that conundrum involving the Roshan pit. In any case, Fnatic is leading the game in, again, all facets, levels, experience, and gold. Uh, and kills. And of course, Era's farm is just unstoppable at this point.
And that was actually Team Liquid's last smoke for the next 9 minutes, and they didn't get a Roshan. This is, you know, usually when Liquid get behind, they like to rely on smokes. As Trixie gonna get Dream Cold, he's gonna just force staff himself out, but there might be a pursuit. Korok actually taking a lot of damage, and here comes some counter teleports. Me on TC going to work on Trixie. Trixie with the Soul Catcher debuff is taking a lot of damage. Here comes Lasso onto TC. TC gonna be forced to retreat for now, as he's gonna get Light Striker raid. Trixie is gonna be the first casualty of this battle. Me on Hani trying to get in position for the RP, gonna go onto the high ground. We'll just pick off Ix Mike. Gonna be 1-for-1 for Team Liquid, very much worth it, as unfortunately they are gonna back up, but TC gonna get RP'd. Fnatic Hani with the Veen script being channeled all the while. Fnatic gonna pick off the Leicester as well, and meanwhile I think the bomb tower, yeah, it did die. Bulbo was unable to protect it in time, so that is gonna be a huge victory for the side of Fnatic, and this is the optimal time for them to strike for Roshan without the Aegis, or without the Leicester bomb, which is so much damage. Fnatic really not gonna be contested as Roshan, I imagine.
Yeah, they really cannot do so. I guess the only saving grace, and those are in air quotes, is that Alchemist's not exactly the best hero to use the Aegis because his first life is fairly squishy, considering that without Alchemist Rage, or without Chemical Rage, definitely a different hero. With that said, he still has, let's say, AC, he still has, Shadow Blade, he still does quite a bit of damage, even without his ultimate on the first life. And that second life is just unkillable, so don't even think about it.
Yeah, meanwhile, just checking out the end progression, Trixie picked up drums as well as Horror Staff, which he used to escape some of the ganks. Enchantress saving up 2.8k, actually just bought a big item, I think. No, I guess I was looking at somebody else. That was probably Era's gold, who I was looking at. Yeah, he has 4k gold in the bank, can probably go for something like a Heart Basher. Again, like you mentioned, ridiculously good in terms of locking down Lifesteal, especially that reduced base attacks time and the attack speed being granted by the Shadow Blade as well as the AC. It's pretty devastating, as Meow and Fnatic trying to farm. Meow inside Liquid. Korok, with that gem, has had that for a while. He's saving up a lot of gold for buyback, not indicating what item you'll go for just yet. Hex is almost up on Bulbo, which is going to be very nice, but still, where's the damage going to come from if TC's locked down? That's a real question.
Right, and actually going back to TC being locked down and Alchemist having 4k gold, do you think he even need the Basher at this point, or do you think his teammates so far has been doing a decent enough job to keep TC at least occupied enough so that Alchemist, could, clear through the rest of the team and then go back to DC? Do you think he needs that Basher, or do you think he should go for a little bit safer of item, whether being a BKB? Well, it looks like we have our answer.
Desolator.
Why the hell not, right? You want more minus armor? Here's more minus armor.
Yo, I swear to God, this must be Era's favorite item in the game. Remember that Deso Weaver on your channel? That was...
I mean, Desolator is actually quite insane as a damage item choice. Like, it
and
gives
if he hits
you...
a tower... It's minus 11 to a tower. That will give you a way to break up the siege of the Tinker March Machine's wall. Just have Era charge in there, not even popping the Chemical Rage, or even if he pops it, can just go in, take some pot shots, go back out, wait for it to cool down.
Look at him go in the tower.
In. Yo, it's like Witch Doctor.
He's like cutting through cheese with his freaking hot knife blades.
It's a hot knife through butter. That is the analogy that you're searching for. But you were close. It was a dairy product, so I'm actually gonna give you some thumbs up.
The fromage. I only play Dota, and there's no butter here. There's only cheese, so it's good enough.
Yeah, I guess that's true. As we all, this tier 2 tower might meet a similar face. No March Machines being stacked just yet. Seems like Team Liquid just gonna bend this all together, as Fluff in position, has phase boots as well as wards, but still no end progression. Bulba just gonna push out on top. They are gonna bend this tier 2. They're gonna try to mount their defense at the tier 3, as the Chemical Rage at the very least will be down, so that's gonna buy Team Liquid a bit more time. But still, Fnatic do have around 4 minutes left on the Aegis, and they have a double damage on the Alchemist. They're just gonna use this duration of the Chemical Rage to go to work, as the glyph is up, but Meow the Alchemist is gonna get disrupted. But Fnatic Era does not care. He actually does care quite a bit, as the Purge is on him, and he's going to be forced to retreat. They're going to have to wait for the cooldown for the Chemical Rage, but once that's back up, expect the push to re-continue.
They don't even need it, because if he dies right now, no big deal, because he has the Aegis. So by the time he respawns, he will have Chemical Rage up. But obviously, with the Chemical Rage, that tower is going to go down so quickly. Well, that said, seems like they're backing off, looking for Hani to drop that RP. Hani also, by the way, has a Shadow Blade. What's better than one Shadow Blade? Two Shadow Blades. Hey!
Yeah, meanwhile, Eric going back to work, and power is back on him. And this tier 3 will get cleaned up. Are they going to glyph? They're just going to use Disruption for now, as Soul Catcher was used. Light Strike Ray once again lifts Fluff, not having the best Light Strike Ray placements, as Era just going to back off. Meanwhile, Barretter did something as my mouse spazzes out. Not too sure what happened, but meanwhile, RP by Hani hits 3, hits TC through that rage, and Bulba is going to get sieged down. Sorry about that mouse control. My mouse just decided to spaz out, but meanwhile the fight is not over. Ghost Scepter being popped, and meanwhile Alchemist so low into his HP will be able to no, his Aegis does expire, but he's going to respawn with that Chemical Rage. And the glyph, is it up? It is up, so at least Liquid have one last failsafe, but still, without the Tinker, it's going to be very difficult. Era going to go back to work, but the Disruption and the Soul Catcher going to go on him. This might be the time for TC to strike. The Alchemist armor not going to do too much, going to cast Open Wounds as well as the Silence, and look, as Era's HP going to get absolutely cleaned. Meanwhile, the feed script going to be channeled, but it does get cancelled, recognizing the need to run at this point. Meanwhile, Trixie might be the Sacrificial Lamb, going to cast a Firefly and try to cover the retreat of his teammates, and actually the rest of his team will in fact escape, but you saw a way to bring out the Alchemist. It is the Soul Catcher as well as the Lifestealer, but I don't imagine Fnatic will make that mistake again, especially when they have the RP.
Man, Soul Catcher just showing you that's actually all the damage that's coming in. It's just Soul Catcher. And it don't matter if Alchemist has that, AC, don't matter if he has in Chemical Rage, he just went down to 3 or 4 shot from TC. That was extremely surprising how much damage they were able to do. But unfortunately, Korok forced to buy back. I think Boba maybe forced to buy back as well. No, he finishes Scythe of Ice. And this Scythe of Ice is going to allow them to pick off, or at least try to pick off a couple of heroes. And if they could delay the push coming in, that's going to give them a lot more time. Oh, here we go. Trixie's going to get Hex. And can they... Oh my goodness. Fluff and stuff missing that LSA. Will that be enough to kick down the kill? No. Very tanky. Thanks to the drums and, of course, his high levels. And I don't think even if they landed the LSA, they might have got the kill. Obviously, that would give Boba another Scythe of Ice. So maybe it would. Yeah, disappointing Fluff and Stuff game from... Or disappointing Lina game from Fluff and Stuff.
Yo, man, it's that Dota fatigue kicking in, as he's been playing a lot of games, but as it is, this is Liquid's now or never in the defense 3, and right now they are on the ropes. Taking a look at the goal graph, it is surpassing 12k advantage for Fnatic. Experience graph almost around 10k for Fnatic, so Fnatic definitely have the upper hand, and now the RP is back online, and meanwhile Fnatic gonna group up. Do they have a smoke up? No, it doesn't look like it. And meanwhile, despite the fact that Era died, he picked up so much gold, gonna add that Reaver up, and now Heart gonna make it even more difficult. Soul Catcher still will do a lot of work, but I mean, with the Heart, it's just gonna be that much more difficult. I mean, with the Alchemist Chemical Rage form in the Heart, he's gonna have close to 4k HP with a boatload of armor.
Yeah, I mean, up to a certain point, it don't matter what item Era decides to pick up. He'll just be so big compared to everybody else that it doesn't just matter. So I think he's definitely approaching that stage. Again, we saw how much damage that Lifestealer can do with the help of the Soul Catcher, so it's still definitely possible to bring him down, but it's looking more and more improbable.
Barra has finished the Yules. Meanwhile, Liquid, TC, again, no item progression, just saving up for buyback. Bulba going all out, it seems like. I picked up Medallion. That's going to be very useful against Alchemist, especially since he has very low armor with that. I mean, despite him having the AC, he only has 20 armor, so that just speaks to how bad Alchemist's armor growth is. But still, I mean, the Medallion will certainly do a lot of work. I feel like Liquid, they're making the right item decisions, as unfortunately Korok has just been kept down so hard he's unable to make any item progressions past that dagger, which he's had for the past 15 minutes or so. Yep.
Speaking of, I think I mentioned the Shadow Blade up on Magnus earlier. Hani really loves the Shadow Blade, considering the fact that it's, a decent item, it gives you attack speed, the stats are always great, and of course, you don't expect it to always protect you from the enemy ganks, but it definitely helps, right? The movement speed, the invisibility factor, and I think he said it on an interview before, is that he really likes to put a pressure up on the enemy supports in their pocket. Sure, they could get dust, but those dusts aren't free, right? So, and the fact that you always have to keep it constantly with you is a big factor. And Blink RP up on top, that's on 3, and suddenly everybody's in trouble. Man, Era even able to drop an Unstable Concoction up on 3, because it does have an AoE stun. And that's pretty much it.
Mihawk Korok forced to abandon that, as No, Korok are gonna get pursued to the ends of the earth. Here comes the shockwave as Snowy's able to blink out, but they're gonna snag at TC, which they're more than happy to pick up. Dreamcoil holding everybody on Fnatic in place with the Fiend Script gonna be channeled on TC. This might be the beginning of the end for Liquid as TC is gonna end up dying. He does have buyback, gonna be forced to use it right now, as I'm just going to constantly speed up all the while because I think I'm still behind. But meanwhile, Era is going to go back to work on those bottom barracks, as these bottom barracks will most certainly not be defended. Bulba not in place to cast those March machines. And Manaya going to take the first set of wrecks, and don't imagine they're done just yet, as Liquid finding it very, very difficult to deal with the Fnatic line. TC going to cast Open Wounds on No Tail. Meanwhile, Era going to get Soul Catcher, Laguna Blade, and Medallion, as he's trying to run for his life, will end up dying to the Alina, and the TC right clicks, and meanwhile Barrett a forced retreat. If Liquid managed to get a couple retreating heroes, that could be what they need to get themselves back in game, but Trixie is going to end up dying, so it's going to be 3 people dying in the retreat. Definitely Liquid, that is best case scenarios, considering that they did lose the bomb barracks, but all things considered, they lost the bomb barracks, and that's definitely not what you want to have happen.
I mean, Team Liquid's the team that, down on racks don't really care. They're going to keep on playing. Obviously, they're in a huge deficit, but TC's still showing that he's able to keep up with an insane amount of tankiness coming out of the Alchemist. Mostly thanks to Ix Mike's Soul Catcher. I gotta say, Ix Mike's been playing rather well this game. There's been a couple of missed disruption here and there, especially on those early games.
I think I'm going to have to call you back, dude. Going all robot on me.
Alright.
No, as soon as I say that, you go back to normal.
I think it's just you, man. Like, you're...
Might just be me.
It's clearly can't be my fault.
Nothing's your fault.
Because I'm Luminous. But also because Ix Mike, I talked about him missing a couple of disruption, but mostly everything else been playing perfectly. I love his item choice, earn into Medallion Courage. A great way to actually, give your life stealer, as well as your teammates, a lot more damage output. So he's playing rather well, but unfortunately, he's on Shadow Demon.
Look at Hani's item, E-Blade. It's pretty sick.
Hey. Why the hell not?
As, yeah, it's going to be good in terms of stopping Leicester. And also, keep in mind, you can E-Blade an ally, so 2 potential targets that the Leicester can attack. If Alchemist is in a sticky situation, you can just E-Blade him, and he won't be able to be hit by the Leicester, which is the primary source of DPS against Alchemist. And Era has been getting right-click down. He has finished the heart, and now once he pops the Chemical Rage, not even going to use it for this Roshan. No is going to do it, as 3.6k HP, and this Roshan going to die in a matter of moments with the Empower, as well, dishing out so much damage in a short amount of time. Alchemist is truly a spectacle at this stage in the game.
Well, Puck blinking right now. It looks like they're going to go right on Trixie, but RP comes in as well. Plufflin's left, gets a Blink Dagger, but they just don't have that damage output. Hani getting focused. Hani's got that Ghost Scepter, so he should be fine. Yep, he does pop that Self-Ghost on himself. They're going to focus on Era. Era does have that AC, or Aegis, so he should be fine. As I say that, though, look at that. One hit just kills Boba. 4 is dead. Fluff is the sole survivor, and it just does not matter anymore what if Fluff survives. They're going to just come to the mid lane. That backdoor protection, by the way, is going to be a joke to the -11 armor to Alchemist, and we're going to see just that. So, I think this is GG against Team Liquid.
Yeah, and backdoor protection won't even matter because creeps are in the base, so they are going to easily bring down this tower. Literally survive for about 3 seconds. Middle barracks are going to die. TC, no buyback, and the top barracks are going to soon fall. This should be GG for Team Liquid, as they put up a hell of a fight, but they will find themselves knocked out in the defense 3, taking home surprise money, but their first major tournament loss since coming together as a team. That is going to be very, very discouraging, but Liquid, one of those teams, will be able to overcome this, but still, you gotta think the drafts in these games are really not up to Liquid par.
I mean, I love the fact that they went Estige and Lina. That the damage output of these two supports have been extremely impressive. More impressive than I gave them credit for, but it was just not enough.
So what do you think came down to in the end, the drafts or the play? I mean, definitely a combination of both in the end, but...
Yeah, it definitely was a combination of both. I felt like the draft wasn't as bad for Liquid as game number 1. I think it really came down to Puck's Blink Dagger came down like way too slowly. Again, it's not like Korok played poorly. It's just the fact that he had to help out every single lane. The ganks didn't go well on the mid against Alchemist. And also, I think they underestimated the Batrider's ability to outlane Lifestealer. If Lifestealer was able to win his lane, if Puck got those ganks that he needed and he got the quick Blink Dagger, this game could have been totally different. I mean, totally different. So, yeah, the late blink on me on Puck is where I want to put this game on. Again, no disrespect to Korok. He's one of my favorite Puck players, but it just the how the game went was not able to allow him to farm that way.
Yep, so Fnatic finally taking their revenge, moving on to the losers bracket finals, are gonna face Dignitas very, very soon. I think probably this weekend, as the Defense 3 coming to a rapid close. Virtus.Pro in the grand finals, Dignitas in the losers finals, meeting up with Fnatic as 10K is on the line for first place. So that is a healthy chunk of money. Definitely gonna make these 3 months hopefully pay out, but still. Liquid gonna be forced to rethink some of their strategies as they're gonna go home in this turn, but still they are in the playoffs of the Raid Call Dota 2 League. But again, Fnatic is as well, so you might see this rivalry continue in the very near future. And just to close out the game, sorry for the technical difficulties and the mouse spazzing out, and also the replay slowdown. I know a lot of you people are new viewers coming in from Luminous' channel. Shouts to Luminous as always. But yeah, doing one cast a day. And Luminous, any last words? The guides coming soon.
The guys are coming soon, but nothing for me, nothing else for me. Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yep, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.